Welcome to your PEP session for iMedia. We're going to cover the pre-production documents. Pre-production documents allow you to plan your ideas in more detail. They're used on a range of different products. Here are a few of them on the left. We're going to look at now which is the best one to select for the different ones that come up. Mood boards are there to generate ideas or concepts of a new creative media product. It allows us to have a visual tool that gives us a feel, a flow, or a look of what the product will eventually look like. The mood board is not about the final product, it's about identifying ideas that will help us create the product in the long run. Mood boards can be both digital or handwritten. They can include things like keywords, font styles, colours, images or photographs, even fabrics. And if they are a digital mood board, they can include sounds and videos. It's important that anything on your mood board, that you're able to justify why it is there in regards to the target audience. For example, if it was a horror film, can you justify why you've used dark reds or a black silhouette of a figure? Mind maps are a great way to organise an idea in a visual way. Its key use is that it's a visual tool. It allows us to break down an idea into smaller areas. It helps us to plan the product out in more detail. It can either be hand-drawn or digitally created using specialist software. It's great because it enables us to take a vague idea and narrow it down into more detail. Mind maps start off with a central idea. The central idea has branches coming from it that lead to nodes. These nodes may have further branches that lead to subnodes. Often, mind maps are accompanied by text and images to give greater detail of what the product might include during development. Visualisation diagrams are a rough sketch or drawing to give an idea of what the finished product might look like. It's basically planning out the layout. It's always used on still images, such as graphics, advertisements, DVD covers or CD covers, and maybe even a web page. Often, this is revised multiple times, as the client will take a look at it, suggest improvements, and then you'll go away, do these improvements, come back and show them. Visualisation diagrams include images, logos, colours, fonts, text, and annotations. Annotations is an important one because often it's used to justify the size of something, the colour, or why something has been designed in a particular way. Storyboards show how a scene or a sequence of scenes map out over a period of time. It's a visual tool that shows the timings for each scene. It might show the directions, the camera angles, or even the plan for the scene. It's very powerful for moving products such as films and comics. Storyboards can be made up of quite a lot, such as images, the movement of the camera type, the angles of the camera, or should I say the different angles as shown here on the right hand side, the timing of how long a scene lasts, the location of where the scene is going to be filmed or take place, a description of something that happens within the scene, or some dialogue, and even right down to the lighting. Scripts are used to give direction or dialogue that the character is going to follow within a particular scene. Its uses are, it can be used for multiple scenes. It allows us to map out the storyline and how the story is going to unfold, such as locations it's going to move to, or things that are going to happen in the scene. It also allows us to rehearse or practice the scene before moving on and recording the real thing, such as the film or creating a comic. Scripts can include locations, sounds, directions, characters, dialogue of the characters, camera shots, or camera movements. I've shown the camera shots here on the right hand side. You might need to know these for the exam, as with everything else in this presentation. You might need to talk about things like client requirements, so you might need to look at the timescale, the target audience, the purpose, the contents, the style, the location, the type of product you're producing, such as an advert, and the budget. Are those feasible? Target audience might come into this. You might need to look at the target audience. Is the product suitable for them? For example, for children between the ages of 2 and 3, they can't read, so you'd use pictures rather than complex words. You might need to look at things like the work plan. You've created these recently with your teachers. Things like the activities that go into a work plan, the resources needed, the timescale and duration of a task, a milestone. Maybe you've got 10 tasks and you've got a milestone at 0.5. Contingency, built in just in case things go wrong. And then obviously the final deadline. You might need to look at hardware and software such as a mouse, keyboard, touchscreen, trackball mouse, screen, monitor, and then obviously the software, things like word processing software, image editing packages, and web authoring software to create websites. Health and safety, you might need to consider things like RSI, which is repetitive strain injury. So continually typing on a keyboard could give you this. The need for a supportive chair, particularly if you're using a computer for a long period of time. The removal of objects such as trip hazards, such as trailing cables, and liquids and drinks by the PC because of spillages. That's just a few ideas for your exam. Oh, there's one more, legislation. So for legislation, you're going to need to look at the Copyright Design and Patent Act, Trademark Act, and Intellectual Property. Thank you for watching. Good luck.